These are the streets of what was once thought to be the most literate of nations. Now on streets like these, illiteracy is a problem costing an estimated $6 billion. That's with a B, dollars every year in welfare programs and unemployment compensation. In Minnesota alone, there are an estimated 691,000 adults needing improved basic skills. This is the story of one innovative program that puts something new to work in the growing march for a literate America. We'll look into how the program operates and what it has discovered in its first 2 years. Meet Lou Walker, the lead instructor at the Technology for Literacy Center in St. Paul, Minnesota. She's on her way to work. The Technology for Literacy Center, or TLC as it's called, uses computers and other technologies to help adults improve their basic skills. One-on-one tutoring from trained volunteers is also available. Lou Walker likes working in an adult environment.
The thing I like most about my work is working with adult learners. I find that very rewarding and very satisfying because these are people who have made a decision to try a second time in life, to learn some things that they missed in earlier life. And so it's very rewarding and when they finally get that aha feeling.
But how do adults who have never used computers feel about learning to read with them? After 2 years, what can you tell us?
Come inside and we'll show you.
The center opened its doors in May of 1985 after a full year of planning. Key to the plan was this location. In the middle of a low-income area of St. Paul, the center is in a shopping mall. Its nearest neighbors include a cosmetic shop and a second-hand clothing store. It's also near a variety of social service agencies. Many learners preferred an adult environment over a school building site. The center uses computers, tape recorders, and videocassette players. In the 2 years of operation, 75% of the learners worked with computers regularly. The remaining 25% entered the program reading below the 4th grade level. These learners work on one-on-one with a volunteer tutor using the Laubach method and computers. To anyone who says illiterate adults won't enter the doors of a literacy program, TLC has some interesting figures. In the first year, TLC saw just under 800 learners, well above the anticipated 300. In its second year, just over 900 adults started the program, again well above the target of 500. Many, 44%, had never been to a literacy program before. The instructors support their learners' work at the computer.
I see you're having trouble getting this started. Basically, the computer is like a textbook for the student. And what we do is, we've helped them set up the goals and the courses that he needs to work on. So then the computer gives him one-on-one instruction and drill and practice and reinforcement. The teacher then monitors that and makes sure that he stays on track and gets the courses that he needs, makes sure that he's mastered the courses, and keeps a record of the things that he does.
While many people expected new learners to be afraid of computers, TLC found the opposite was true.
I thought it was great. I figured it would be a challenge for me.
A question in the minds of many is this: are computers replacing teachers here?
Oh, not at all. The teacher provides the human touch. The teacher helps to make sure that the goals are being met and helps to set the goals, change the goals if necessary, and also to make sure that the student is learning what we have decided, we together have decided that he wants to learn.
For 3 years, a total of $1.3 million was committed by a variety of sources, including these foundations: F.R. Bigelow, St. Paul, Mardag, Northwest Area, Coles Media, as well as the St. Paul companies and other interested groups and individuals. We asked Center Director Dr. Terry Lynn Turner to describe the unique collaboration TLC has with a variety of public and private programs. Dr. Turner played the lead role in planning the center and has directed its work for the past 2 years.
The Technology for Literacy Center was originally funded by the F.R. Bigelow Foundation, and 5 foundations have gone together to provide the funding for this project along with the St. Paul Public School System. And the schools act as the fiscal and management agent for the project. We also have collaborative arrangements with other agencies such as Head Start and with Junior League to provide for a full program here.
The center uses this technology to do more than teach reading and math.
The Technology for Literacy project has 4 components: direct service, training, research, and incentive grants. Direct service is what you see when you walk in the door. That's the instructional program that we have for adult learners. Training, by training we provide internships for graduate students, undergraduates at universities and colleges in the area, and we also conduct workshops both nationally and locally. We have research both in terms of our own internal data collection and finding out what is the best application of technology for adult learners, and then we're also a site for external research projects that want to come in. And finally, we provide incentive grants for existing literacy programs in the area that want to implement technology in their programs. And we do that by providing training and also direct financial support for them.
TLC has 5 full-time and a number of part-time employees.
The Technology for Literacy Center is staffed by myself, a lead instructor, a reading specialist, a curriculum developer, a volunteer coordinator, and quite a few part-time instructors as well. The instructors are all professional educators who are certified and licensed by the state, so that there are 2 instructors on at any given time. We also have paraprofessionals and clerical assistants, as well as our volunteers.
In 2 years of study, the center found that technology has a big effect in motivating learners.
We have found that technology provides students with privacy, with immediate feedback, individualization, control, and flexibility. And technology is able to do that because it provides the privacy students want in a learning environment. It gives them a chance to find out immediately how they're doing in a learning situation. Our students tell us they like the fact that they can choose when they can come in here, when they leave, and they're really in control of the total learning environment.
Early in the planning stages, the center manager and a donor review board wanted to attract adults whose basic skills were below the 8th grade level. Minorities were another part of the target audience. After 2 years, 74% of all learners who entered the program scored below the 8th grade level. 48% were minority. And TLC found that there is so much variety in the adults it serves that there is no such thing as a typical learner. Designing the curriculum for this wide variety is Claudia Bredemus's responsibility. She's the center's curriculum developer.
The curriculum at TLC is a plan for instruction in the areas of reading, writing, and math. Basically, my job is to plan courses in each of those areas, and within each course we have several modules in which a learner is placed. For example, this is a fractions module. We've identified the skills that we want to teach, and we've also correlated the materials that will teach those skills. Some of the materials are a software program, a film strip program, an alternate software program, and books and tapes that will also assist a learner.
An individual learning plan is developed for each learner based on present needs, past learning experiences, and future goals.
When a learner comes to TLC, we conduct a private interview first. Then we administer a standardized test along with any additional inventories we might need to place the learner in an appropriate course of study here.
The computer curriculum is designed for learners reading above the 4th grade level. Those reading below this level need tutors to begin work at TLC. So volunteer tutors are trained to teach basic reading. Today, the center has 68 volunteers. Rita Kuhn, the center's reading specialist, says a good relationship with a volunteer is key to the learner's growth.
Well, the volunteers at TLC really do play a very important role. They're trained as tutors, and they teach basic reading skills to adults who at this point in our curriculum can't work with computers as their main means of instruction. So that tutor becomes the main means of instruction. We do, however, use computers with the learners at that level for needed review and reinforcement.
10 hours of tutor training are required before a volunteer can begin.
Well, first of all, the training is held on site by TLC staff and Minnesota Literacy Council. And in training, we stress to volunteers a 4-part lesson approach. Just briefly, those 4 parts are language experience, which is using the learner's own words, text, which is at TLC the Laubach way to reading, the word parts, which is a spelling pattern, and student needs, which is really the materials that students need to work on, applications, letters, that type of thing. We also train them in the use of computers. How can they use computers with their learners?
TLC found that the cost of managing and training the volunteer tutors was equal to the total cost of the technology, which brings up other important cost comparisons and a few conclusions. The average costs per student at TLC are within the range of other adult basic and continuing education programs in Minnesota and nationally. Yet the actual cost of technology is a surprisingly low 8% of the total budget, or about equal to the costs of one full-time instructor. What does this mean? It means that the technology is relatively inexpensive, but that people still play a major role in instruction. Many of these conclusions were drawn by the independent summative evaluation completed at the end of TLC's second year. Evaluation helps staff and funding sources know how the program is working, and Dr. Stacy Stockdill has served as the formative evaluator to TLC even before it opened its doors.
Funders as well as staff needed some feedback regarding how effective this particular program was. They really wanted to know whether or not TLC was going to recruit the people that they had anticipated recruiting. For example, students that had never been to another program. They wanted to make sure whether or not students were making progress. Did this thing TLC even work? And so achievement was important to look at. In addition, once the students made a commitment to a goal at TLC, staff and funders were interested whether or not they stayed. And so the evaluation helped examine those key variables, as well as whether or not TLC, through its training and incentive grants, provided assistance to other literacy programs in introducing technology into their own programs. The research component then was to provide feedback to funders and staff regarding the impact of literacy and whether or not technology worked as in literacy programs.
Evaluation is a key component of this literacy project.
In the design, putting in an evaluation, a comprehensive evaluation, is critical because it can provide staff with ongoing feedback about what's working and what's not working so that they can fix the things that aren't going well. But in addition, it can help a literacy project provide external funders with information regarding the value of their particular program.
As TLC begins its third year, the evaluation will help steer its direction. That can affect how Lou Walker and all the instructors she manages work with learners. It's a Tuesday night, and the center's open until 9 o'clock. They're expecting another busy night with about 20 learners. If you'd like more information about TLC, write to Technology for Literacy Center, 580 University Avenue, St. Paul, Minnesota. The zip is 55103.